Mully Haugh, Chicago Sports Radio 670 The Score. Brad Biggs is the football man of the Chicago Tribune, a long-time contributor to the station and a valued friend. And he joins us now on the Score Hotline, brought to you by Atturo, your all-weather tire. Atturo.com. Biggs Day!
Morning, Brad.
Morning, boys. What's going on?
Well, you can tell us. You got the big story of the day, which is Matt Campbell going to interview for the Bears job. And again, I want to be careful how I say this. I didn't realize they're all virtual interviews when I wondered why they were so many. That makes more sense. It's almost like they're doing like a kind of a trimming. I guess the interviews are only allowed to be 3 hours, and that's including meals, so there won't be any breaking of bread. They could probably efficiently get some of these done and then decide who they really want to interview for the job.
Including meals?
Yeah, 3 hours, including meals. We're going to eat a sandwich on.
If you're doing something in person and your interview starts at 4:30 and at 6:00 you head out to dinner, you can't basically say, "Well, we were doing an hour and a half. We'll go to dinner," and then wind up back at House Hall at 8:00 for another 90 minutes or so.
What if your service is slow?
Yeah, order quick.
Well,
you just go to a fast food place.
Talk fast. I would recommend you talk fast.
Don't spit.
Don't
talk with food in your mouth.
Right. So this is we're kind of in that slow news part of the process where they're going to announce when they've completed interviews with candidates that are cool with that information being out there. And so we kind of analyze and overanalyze, and we hope we're analyzing the right information. But I think some people are up in arms about the number of names out there, and it's a lot. But like again, I wrote the other day, Poles was criticized for talking to only 3 people the last time around. Well, you can't you can't throw that criticism his way this time. And I think what matters is who are they seriously considering in the end? Like, who are there 2 finalists? Are there 3 finalists? What does that group look like? And if this process leads them to a scenario where they've got candidates A, B, and C, and everyone has a different opinion, but most people are pretty jazzed up about 2 of the 3, maybe, then maybe it was a productive process for them.
Well, there's no question. I think that is the bottom line. But until we get there, I do think that it's understandable why there would be questions about why this list is as long as it is, because you wonder if it reflects a Bears organization that doesn't know what they're looking for, and that's earned skepticism and cynicism.
Oh well, but you'd be saying that, Dave, if they had a list of 7 right now, as opposed to a list that looks like it's closer to 17, right? Like
I don't know about that.
That earns skepticism from the previous 5, 6, 7 hires that you just look at the results. Like, I just think no matter what they do, you could look at it and say, well, why should I believe you're going to get it right this time? Ryan Poles has been involved in it one time before. This is going to be Georgia's 6th head coach. Kevin Warren's a first-timer to this process. So how does it shake out for him?
But out of the 16, Brad, how many realistically do you think have a chance that you could envision walking into House Hall being introduced as the next head coach of the Bears? I don't think that number is higher than 6.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say probably half, and I think some of these guys were sort of just dismissing because, well, we don't know a whole heck of a lot about them, right? We just don't have a great idea on their background, and they're probably more legitimate candidates than it. Like I'll throw, nobody's talked about Mike Kafka, the St. Rita product, who's been the Giants' offensive coordinator here, not calling plays this past season, and he's not getting consideration because the Giants are coming off a horrible season, right? Just lousy season. You talk to people around the league, and I bet you Olin would probably tell you he experienced this at some point in his career. There's been plenty of good teams, really good teams that have had some coaches that weren't great on it, and then there's been some terrible teams that have had great coaches on it. And Kafka's been I think he's been a runner-up 3 times, guys. So do I think he's got a shot at this job? Not a great one, no. I do not. But I just don't think this early in the process, because there's so many guys that we just don't know a ton about. You can't dismiss all of them. And I would reiterate, I think something we touched on the other day, the possibility that whoever they wind up hiring in the end here has a name from this list on his staff some way or another when the dust is settled and we're to heck, what are we going to be, like late February then? I'm sort of dreading how long this could drag out.
Yeah, I think that a guy like Mike Kafka, for instance, Brad, since his name came up, reminds me a little bit of the reason to have the Rooney Rule. That when you get in front of people and you talk to them, sometimes the job isn't yours this time out, but in the next go round, you might remember the guy that we talked to that, hey, I like that guy, I like the cut of his jib. It may lead to another job later on. I think that that interviewing for jobs is good for younger coaches, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I think that when you get in front of people, that's when you get an opportunity to kind of show what your thought process is, what you can do, how you view things. And again, if you're not the guy for this go round, then the next cycle, who knows? Maybe you are.
Right, and because guys talk, if he has a solid interview here, if any one of these candidates that's a younger guy, Drew Petsy, has a solid interview here, doesn't get the job, well, people will find out about that. Like that word will travel. Hey, this guy was pretty damn impressive. That type of thing.
Yeah.
And so you can build some momentum for yourself moving forward.
And if Eden Cunningham happens to be in on that one, maybe he takes it to wherever he goes. You see what I'm saying? Like there is a possibility that
Whoa.
that he's interviewing guys for his next job.
Where is Ian Cunningham going?
Oh, he's going to.
Where's he going?
He's going to take.
He's been the number 2 guy.
He's got a virtual meeting
to a general manager who lost 36 games in 3 years. Brad, help me understand that candidacy. If he's a GM candidate somewhere,
how many jobs does he interview for already? He's a hot commodity.
I don't know that he's got any interviews in this cycle. He could. There's how many GM jobs are open right now?
2.
That's. Yeah. And that Tennessee job is that might be GM light.
Yeah.
Like I don't know that it's the title, right? Rand Carthon, who was fired, had the title of general manager, but the guy over him might have the juice on the decisions there. So I don't Chad Brinker, he's the president of football operations, so that could be a GM light job. I don't know what's going to happen there.
Why Matt Campbell, Brad? Sorry.
Matt Campbell's been a guy that's been on the radar of NFL teams for quite a while. Like there were reports, and I don't know that they were ever credible in 2021 that the Lions were trying to almost move earth to get him out of Ames, Iowa, and hire him in Detroit. So much so that like Dan Campbell had a joke at his introductory press conference when the Lions hired him, a guy who had worked in the NFL, and his crack was something to the effect of, I told my agent Rick Smith, who's a local guy, to tell them that I'm Matt Campbell. Like there were so many reports out there that the Lions were going to pay him it was like a Matt Rule type contract that he got in Carolina. Like it was going to be like $68 million over however many years, and I don't know that those numbers were ever substantiated, but the team did have interest in him. The Jets had interest in him. Other much bigger college programs have had interest in him, and he stayed put names for, I think, 9 seasons now, 7 bowl appearances. He's a guy who has shown an ability to do more with less when you talk about recruiting and getting players into Ames. He's coming off the first, they won 11 games. First time they hit double-digit wins in Cyclones history. He's the winningest coach in program history. So talking to him makes sense. Do I think he's got a great shot at it? No, but I'd be even more surprised if we got near the finish line and there was a name near the end that was a finalist that we weren't expecting. Like something's going to emerge from this that throws us off a little bit, right?
So, Brad, how many names on the list are the Bears actually interviewing to be the next head coach of the Bears versus potential members of the Bears coaching staff? In that, I mean, could be a future defensive coordinator in there, a future offensive coordinator in there, getting intel on guys by getting to know them virtually or otherwise, but virtually right now, and using that as a means of accumulating kind of background on guys who they might hire later.
I would think most of them they're interviewing because they want to talk to them for the sake. Like you can't say, hey, guys, maybe we got a shot at our next coordinator here. These guys they've all got a shot at the head coaching job. Some are going to have a greater shot, but I don't think they're truly thinking of filling out the staff. I just think there's a possibility a guy ends up on the staff in the long run because the list is so long. They're going to have to be very organized about how they go about this. And that's in the preparation, and they've had time for that, obviously, preparing for these interviews. But I think they've got to be highly organized when they're done. What did people in the room like about the experience with the candidate? What questions came up that maybe they want to explore a little bit further in a follow-up meeting with the candidate? What were some concerns that were raised? And then you got to be able to organize that to move on to the next one. It's not like they're going to be doing one a day. They're probably going to be doing more than 2 a day. So you've got to be able to compartmentalize that information and be efficient.
Is the entire group together on these calls? In other words, are they having, all the aforementioned 7 names or whatever it was take part in each Zoom call, and I keep saying Zoom, in each virtual meeting, or will they then try to bring in someone to expand into a session where everyone is involved?
Yeah, I don't know. They gave us some information about people involved, but they didn't give us an exact rundown of how this is going to play out, and it could be slightly different from candidate to candidate, right?
Right.
Like they
is a guy like Vrabel going to be available if they want to get through all these interviews before they bring someone in person? Are they ever going to see him?
Probably not. I think a lot of people think he's got a good chance of being hired in New England here sooner rather than later. But the Patriots
Brad,
are the only team, to my knowledge, that can move on a guy at this point.
Brad, what is your understanding of why they did not meet in person with Vrabel and or Pete Carroll, because I
I
understand
don't know.
the need to like make everything level and even, but there's not everything that's level and even when you're talking about two guys who have that kind of experience.
Well, and I don't understand, why does everything have to be level and even? Like, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you could, if
Yeah, the
you could
rules
put
are
Pete Carroll on
different. The rules are different for the candidates you interview. Why can't you go with that, right? I mean, if you can bring someone in, why not?
Why
Is there
wouldn't
benefit?
you?
Yeah, there's benefit
or
to that.
meet with them,
Or go to them.
meet
Yes.
with them face to face, or go to them. Right? Like, I don't. Everything doesn't need to be equal. If you can put Pete Carroll in first class and bring him in, if you can bring Mike Vrabel in with a first class airline ticket, why wouldn't you? I don't
get a jet.
I don't. Yeah, well, I don't know that they could do that, but I don't. Yeah, I don't. That's just me personally. Why does everything have to be the same? It doesn't. And the Bears didn't make the rules. You got to follow them, but the rules don't say that everything has to be done in the same format. So that doesn't make sense to me. But maybe it helps them manage their time a little bit better. Maybe I don't know. I have no idea. But I don't operate in a world where everything has to be done the same. That's not how I roll.
We know the world that you operate in, Brad. We're just glad we're in it too. Thanks for all your info.
Great job,
all right, guys.
Biggsy.
Have a great day.
Good stuff.
Great stuff.